Good morning, everybody. I think most of you were my students about 4 years ago. For those of you who can't remember me, I'm Sara. Remember now, no? I'm from Scotland. I don't know if you remember that I was Scottish, but yeah. And at the moment I'm working in Murcia in the university, which I'll tell you about later. I come from quite a small family in Scotland. I'm an only child and my parents are divorced. I come from a place outside of Glasgow. I live in a small town beside the coast. And I was here 4 years ago basically to improve my knowledge of teaching, of Spanish, of the culture, of everything, all the aspects that you can find here. Hobbies, well, I was going to tell you a little bit about my hobbies. Obviously I love to travel. I love visiting different places. I've taken up a new hobby of skiing, which I'm quite bad at the moment, to be honest, but I love skiing, and I was an ex-football player as well, and unfortunately at the weekend I thought I would take the hobby up again, and I went to the beach to play football and injured myself as a result, so maybe stop playing football. First of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Scotland, about the UK. Who can tell me what countries are in the UK? What countries? Anyone? Yes.
I should say that. Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and this is it.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Little more difficult question. What are the capital cities of each country? London. Of England. Scotland? Anybody? No? Edinburgh. No, Dublin is the capital city of Ireland.
Belfast.
Belfast. And Wales?
Northern Ireland.
Wales. Does anyone know the capital city of Wales? Cardiff. Cardiff. Well done. Well done, boys. So obviously I'm from Scotland, and I'm not from Edinburgh, not even close. I studied in Glasgow and I've spent a lot of my life in Glasgow. Has anyone ever visited Scotland? No? No. Does anyone? Yes. Yeah. What about England? Has anyone ever been to England? Yeah. To London, no? Yes. Obviously. What about Wales and Northern Ireland? They're a little bit less popular. No? I would recommend that you visit the different countries in Great Britain, because, you know, London's quite an international city. I'm sure when you went to London you found lots of people from Spain, people from Germany, people from all sorts of countries. But if you go to Scotland or Northern Ireland, you'll find, you know, proper Scottish people or Irish people, and it's quite a different experience. Anyway, I'll continue. First of all, about Scotland. In Scotland there are about 5 million people, which isn't a lot really. It's probably about the size of maybe one of the cities. Probably maybe about the size of Murcia, I would imagine. Maybe a bit. Murcia's a bit smaller than that, but Scotland's quite a small country. Most of it's made of countryside. The places that people live are maybe in the south, in the cities as well. But in the north, you won't see many large cities. So, who can tell me some famous people from Scotland? Sorry? Oh, famous people. Yes. Sean Connery. Sean Connery. Who else? Someone who's very famous at the moment is Scottish. No. Do you think that Henrik is a Scottish name?
Alex Ferguson.
Alex Ferguson, well done.
Okay.
I'm thinking of someone more famous at the moment. He's a sportsman. He plays tennis.
Andrew Murray.
Maybe I won't talk about Andy Murray because he might upset people. So, but yeah, he's probably the most famous Scotsman at the moment. And it's quite ironic, really, because if you go to any other part of Great Britain, they'll call him British. But you know, when he loses, he's Scottish. So I'm sure there's something behind that meaning. Right. Can anyone tell me what languages are spoken in Scotland?
Well, English and proper Scottish.
What's proper Scottish?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but you have quite an extraordinary accent.
Maybe it's a little bit more than the accent.
Gaelic.
We have a language called Gaelic. Do we have any students here called Alba?
Yeah.
One. Do you know what Alba means in Scottish? Oh, you're worried now, aren't you? Alba in Gaelic means Scotland. Yeah, so, you know, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, I only know 2 words in Scottish, and it's Alba and a word, Failte, I think we pronounce it. Which means welcome. Because if you go anywhere above Glasgow, you see this. But unfortunately, Gaelic is a dying language. No one speaks it, no one learns it. They don't teach it in schools. Unless you live, you know, lost somewhere in the north of Scotland, you won't even hear it. They sometimes have programmes on television to encourage children to learn it, but it's a dying language, and in 100 years it won't even exist. What about the climate of Scotland?
It's very rainy.
It's very rainy, yeah, it's cold. Summer is a foreign concept, you know. Summer, we have 2 weeks of sunshine, usually in May, when everyone's doing exams. So all the teenagers that are sitting exams have no opportunity to enjoy the sun. And in July and August, it rains for 2 months, and it's cold. Last summer, for example, after having taught in Murcia for a year, I went back to work for the summer. I went to a place called Newcastle, which is in the northeast of England. And when I arrived back, I remember reaching the airport in Newcastle, stepping off the plane, and it was like this huge gust of wind and rain, and I had on a dress and flip-flops. So straight into the toilet, got my jeans on, my boots, my coat, my scarf, and I arrived in the city centre of Newcastle to meet one of my friends who stays there. And he said to me, "Why have you got a coat on?" He said, "It's July." And I said, "Yeah, it's freezing." And everyone else had on their shorts, their t-shirt, and I had on my scarf and my coat for the whole summer. It was horrible. So you guys are really lucky, because you have a winter, but you also have an amazing summer. So you should count yourselves quite lucky. Typical food of Scotland.